Somewhere in the highlands of Borneo, there is a plant holding more than 3 liters of liquid in a single cup. And in rare documented cases, when someone looks inside, they find a rat, drowned, half dissolved, slowly turned into food for something with no mouth, no stomach, and no nerves at all. We think of plants as the quiet ones, the things that get eaten. A few of them tore that up and started hunting back. Over the next 8 minutes, I'll take you from the smallest predators alive to the ones that drown animals with a spine. And I'll show you 3 things. A plant that can count, with no brain. A plant that traps prey it cannot eat, and wins anyway. And a plant that chooses, like a switch, whether to be a predator at all. Hold those 3. Welcome to the lab. 7 levels of carnivorous plant, ranked not by how scary they look, but by 3 things. How good the trap is, how big the prey gets, and how far evolution pushed the strategy. Level 1 is microscopic. Level 7 swallows vertebrates. Subscribe before we open the first jar. The lab opens a new specimen every week, and that button is what keeps the lab doors open. Level 1. The microscopic hunters. The bladderwort floats rootless in still water, its stems lined with hundreds of tiny hollow bladders, each pumped empty until it is cocked like a loaded trap. A water flea brushes a trigger hair, and the bladder fires, sucking the animal in on a rush of water. Half a millisecond, at 600 times the force of gravity. The fastest movement known anywhere in the plant kingdom, too fast for the eye to catch. Alongside it, corkscrew plants funnel soil microbes into spiral traps with no way back. And a Brazilian flower called Phylloxera buries sticky leaves to digest worms underground. Tiny prey, completely ruthless. Level 1 was too small to notice. Level 2, the sticky ones. A sundew leaf is studded with stalks, each tipped with a glistening droplet that catches the light like dew. It looks like water. It is glue. An insect lands expecting a drink, sticks on contact, and the harder it fights, the more it is held. Then the tentacles slowly curl inward and fold it down into a bed of enzymes that digest it where it lies. Butterworts in the rainbow plant run the same con with a flatter coating. Living flypaper that looks like a garden. Glue still has to hold on to you. The next level doesn't bother. There is nowhere to go. Level 3. The drowning pools. Pitcher plants grow their leaves into tall sealed tubes, half filled with digestive fluid. Baited at the mouth with nectar. An insect crawls to the rim. The slick surface gives way, and it slides in. Downward pointing hairs line the walls, so every attempt to climb only drives it deeper. It drowns, dissolves, becomes nitrogen. The biggest tropical pitchers take frogs and lizards too. Not leaves anymore, stomachs hanging in the open air. Falling in is an accident. The prey slips. The next level removes the accident. It engineers one. Level 4. The illusion masters. The cobra lily arches over like the hooded head of a snake about to strike. An insect follows the nectar inside, then tries to leave toward the light. But the light is a lie. The hood is freckled with translucent false windows that look exactly like the way out, and the insect throws itself at them again and again, until it burns out and drops into the chamber below. The parrot pitcher runs the same trick, even underwater, drowning tadpoles that swim in and never find an exit that was never there. These plants overpower nothing. They kill with architecture and light. Quick pause. We're halfway up the ladder. Before we climb higher, choose your nightmare. The slow glue, the drowning pool, or the fake daylight that runs you to exhaustion. Drop it in the comments, and I'll tell you mine at the end. So far, every plant has fooled its prey. The next 2 are stranger. One cheats at being carnivorous at all. The other hides what it is from us. Level 5. The ones that don't kill alone. Roridula from South Africa traps insects on the stickiest resin of any plant. But it cannot make a single digestive enzyme. By the strict definition, it should not even count as carnivorous. So it hired help. A small bug called Pamaridia walks the lethal glue untouched, eats the trapped insects, and leaves its droppings, and the plant pulls most of its nitrogen straight out of that waste. Carnivory by outsourcing. Then Bruxenia, a cousin of the pineapple, dangerous because it looks like nothing at all. Its waxy leaves reflect ultraviolet light like a beacon. A sweet scent pulls insects to a central pool, and they slip in and drown, broken down by bacteria and the plant's own faint enzymes. A predator that kills you without you ever knowing you were in danger. Everything so far has been patient. The next level is the moment a plant stops waiting and reacts. Level 6. The plants with reflexes. The Venus flytrap. Touch one trigger hair inside it, and nothing happens. Touch a second within about 20 seconds, and it slams shut in 1/10 of a second. It is counting. It logged the first touch, held it in memory, and waited for confirmation before spending the energy. And it doesn't stop at 2. As the prey thrashes, it tallies the contacts, and only after about 5 does it commit and flood the trap with enzymes. Arithmetic, with no brain to run it on. Charles Darwin called it the most wonderful plant in the world. Its underwater cousin, the water wheel plant, closes even faster, in 10 to 20 thousandths of a second. But here is the twist about the top of the ladder. Level 7 was never about speed. The most extreme plants on Earth win by being huge, and by being able to change their minds. Level 7. The apex. The largest tropical pitchers, the ones from the cold open, hold over 3 liters of fluid. They never chase or react. The trap is always open and always ready, and there are documented cases of rats found drowned inside, though ants remain the everyday diet. Each one is practically a tiny ecosystem, and some have nearly stopped hunting altogether, turning the trap into a roost for a small bat and living off its droppings. And then, the strangest of all, Triphophyllum, a vine from West Africa that does not stay a predator. When phosphorus runs low, something flips, and it grows long, sticky leaves built only for catching insects. Once its phosphorus is back, it drops the traps and returns to an ordinary vine, the only plant we know of that switches its own carnivory on and off. So let me pay off what I promised. A plant that can count with no brain. The fly trap, 2 touches to close, 5 to commit. A plant that traps prey it cannot eat, and still wins. Rorigula, feeding through the droppings of a bug it can't live without. And a plant that chooses whether to be a predator. Triphophyllum, switching its traps on when the phosphorus vanishes, and off when it returns. And mine? Everyone expects me to say the snap because it looks the most violent. But the snap is fast, and fast is mercy. I'd take the fly trap every time. It's the glue that gets me. The slow ones where you have all the time in the world to understand exactly what is happening to you and nothing you can do about it. Here is the thread that ties all 7 together. Not one of these plants set out to be a hunter. They are all stuck in the same place. Wet, bright, and starving in soil too poor to feed them. Faced with that one problem, plants that are not even related, on different continents, all reached the same answer at least a dozen separate times. If the ground won't feed you, charge rent to whatever lands on you. The frightening part was never that a plant learned to kill. It is that the conditions kept making killing the reasonable choice. Evolution didn't invent these monsters once. It keeps inventing them. If that's your kind of weird, the next file is already on the shelf. I'll see you in the lab.